Today I mentioned that we are going to be talking about the Western dialogues. This has to do with music and also growing the music spaces across regions. Okay, now 3 Music is dedicated to making sure that artists across the regions of Ghana are able to get that traction that they need. All right, now this Western Music Dialogue was brought to you in collaboration with Richard Addison. Last week Friday, before they were going to go on the trip, we had a conversation. But now that the seminar has happened, let's speak to Kofi Cephas on the possibilities of the discussion that we are having. Hello, Kofi Cephas. Good morning. Okay. So before we have him join us, Kojo Trip and Jason, do you think that it's possible for any art form to properly thrive outside of Accra? I'm saying any art form because the Anazo guy, the Washington Bay promoter. Yes, he says that he has now relocated to Accra. Right?
Yeah.
Because then it's easier for him as well. Now, prior to this, he was doing his thing in the Western region, as well. So now that raises the question as to can any art form thrive beyond Accra? Do they necessarily have to come to, Accra to be able to push?
Lenny, to answer my question, thank you very much for the question.
What is this?
So, I wish Mr. Tell was here
to tell it all.
To tell it all, honestly, because when he came here, he made some very very salient points when he came about the fact that while the likes of Macasio and Fancy Gadam, amongst others, have made a name for themselves in the northern region of Ghana, it is essential for them to come over here because the infrastructure, the business, the space, like all of it exists here in Accra because it's the capital of Ghana, right? Ghana is not limited to Accra, but everything happens here. Thankfully, we had the likes of Jay Foley, Cyril, in collaboration with Mr. Addison, who decided to take some of these forums and some of these engagements outside of Accra because they do realize the importance of acknowledging talents that exist in other parts of the country because, like I said, Ghana is not limited to Accra, right? As to whether music or a career or like other talents can thrive outside of the space within Accra, it's something that we can only dream of. We have seen it replicated.
Dream of?
Yes, we can dream of it, but as to whether it can become a reality depends on the work that is going to be put in by the stakeholders or everybody who's actually involved in that industry or in that space, right? Are they willing to do what is necessary? For example, Macasio and Fancy Gadam have made it in the northern region, and that is also due to other stakeholders' involvement, like Mr. Tell's. Exactly. Mr. Tell's intentionality with it. So, number one thing that we can identify or we can point out from Mr. Tell's case study is the fact that he was intentional about it. And you see, sometimes the way we go about it is also not the best because he was talking about how controversy is what their careers have thrived on. But outside of controversy, what other strategies are we putting in place or are we considering to ensure that the music also goes beyond or is heard in all these other places?
Yeah, because just chipping into your controversy point, right? People are out there who are not even as talented as people who are not controversial and only want to do their work, right? And they say that empty barrels make the most noise. We didn't start that saying, but it is true because in certain cases as well, for some people who play heavily or who dance heavily to the controversy drum, you find that they literally don't have any substance at all. It's only a lot of I want to be famous. They are chasing more the fame than having to do the actual work, and so when the work is done, they need something to propel that work, to put it in our faces. some people you find they'll just do their work
And it
and
speaks
push
for
it
itself,
how
yeah.
it has to be pushed, and it will equally speak for itself, So
Yeah.
I think that
Okay,
it's a
so
salient
to
point.
use what you said thrive, right? First of all, these artists are actually thriving. They are doing well. The numbers that the Macasios and the Fancy
Fancy
School Accra artists are not pulling it. The conversation is not about whether they're doing well or not. It's about the next level. And Accra is seen as that level. The reason why Fancy and Macasio and all these people's names come up is because of how well they're doing. There's so many other good artists in Kumasi, in Tamale. Asaka Boys made it from Kumasi, right? But now there's the migration in terms of the market and where they're attacking to Accra. When you're in Accra for a while, the conversation is going to be, when are you going to London? When are you going to America?
Yeah.
When are you going to Canada? And this thing happens everywhere. Let's look at Los Angeles artists. Let's look at Atlanta artists. Let's look at anywhere in
Because
America.
I think all these
But
are
they go-
aspirations and they are valid.
Yes.
Right?
The thing is, they also go to New York because of the stations, because they want to perform at Madison Square Garden, because they want to reach a wider market. So the thing is, they are doing well. Mr. Tell never said these artists, or we've never said they're not actually doing well. Now, what we're saying is, what's the next level?
Yeah.
You see, now, when Mr. Tell came here, he was like, they've done it all. And he made an example. He said, why did Fancy build a house? He was like, Fancy should invest his money and do more of this. Now, what Fancy does with his money...
use that money to invest.
Yes, what
Jason,
Fancy does with his
before
money...
you continue, I just want to chip in that know that like people's metric of success varies, like it differs.
Exactly. But let me ask you guys, and I get the conversation, right? Accra is a hub. It's a hub to get to that next place. Like I'm saying, London is a hub, New York is a hub, Canada is a hub. Somebody will even say Nigeria is a hub right now, because when you go to Nigeria, that's the level for you. I spoke to...
It is, because some of our Ghanaian artists use Nigeria as, a country of activation.
I spoke to Jubed, Rua. He had that hit song Rua. And he actually said his song blew in Nigeria before Ghana.
Because of his style.
Yes.
Because you don't, just like Olive the Boy, you don't hear him as Ghanaian before you hear him as anything else. You hear him as Nigerian.
Exactly.
Before you find out that
yes.
he's
So why
Ghanaian.
do some Nigerians also come to Ghana, supposedly, to have their songs or their artistry blow before they go to Nigeria?
I think that with those ones, there's no exact consciousness as to coming to Ghana.
You don't think they intentionally do it?
No, because there's Mr. Easy's case as well. Mr. Easy was in school before he started making music. He was in tech. It wasn't that I am coming to Ghana to make music, but it just happened that he started in Ghana and then blew out of Ghana, right?
Fine.
Beyond him as well, I don't know who exactly says that they are coming to Ghana. Pato Ranking also has a story but he was also in Ghana
UCC
already.
Thank you.
Do you understand? Pato Ranking was also in Ghana already, so he didn't come to Ghana to say I'm coming to make music.
And what you're saying is perfectly right, but the thing is where they blew. But all I'm trying to say is it's levels, so to speak. So the conversation is, once you've done it there, what's the next level? Because I actually got some messages from artists who are saying they want to move, they've blown here, and I was trying to make them feel okay, like you've put in the work. Nobody's not acknowledging the fact that you've put in the work. But the fact is, just like Jay Foley said, just like Mr. Tell said, just like guys on air here have said, and I just want us to get that clear, that artists there are thriving. We shouldn't make them feel, or nobody's actually making them feel like they're not doing well. But the fact is, on the ground, shout out to Mr. Tell
But
again.
you also want to be part of the conversation.
Exactly.
If you want to be part of the conversation, Accra is where the conversation is.
If you want to be on
Right.
This Is the Culture.
All right. Well, talking about conversation and knowing what is next after the seminar, Kofi Cephas, again, he is a brand strategist. He was present at the Western Music Dialogues. Hello, Kofi Cephas.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for joining us on the show. The conversation will be brief, but also just your thoughts generally on this Western Music Dialogues that was held.
I think it was a good call by Mr. Richard Addison and then P Music to have held this seminar in Takoradi. At least it gives the people in Takoradi, especially the creatives, the opportunity to be able to understand what happens and what needs to be done. And then it was really a good session. What Jay spoke about, and then what Cyril spoke about, the same as Wood. These were like enlightening topics for most of the creatives that were present.
Okay, now from your observation, with the people present as well, how was the reception like with these conversations that you've mentioned?
You see, the facials that people make when you put them on things that they never knew or they never thought about, right? Those are like the first impression. People really, people really look very enlightened, and even post the seminar, the conversations that were giving the impression that there was something very inciting for them to have learned something new.
Okay. Okay, so now I am interested in what these post seminar questions or conversations were, right? Which will also now then lead us to what, after this seminar, what next? Because it can't just be us having the conversations and leaving it as is.
I think after the seminar, what's next is that we do the call to action. Now you've had education. It's time for you to apply what you learned. It's time for you to apply what Marcus spoke about. It's time for you to apply what Kofi Cephas spoke about. It's time for you to apply what Jay and then Siri also spoke about. So I think that is where we are also looking at helping and guiding them to be able to implement these things and then make very good use of the information that they had over the weekend.
Okay. The help and guide you speak on, what is it going to be? And is it that there has been no help and guide over the years? Because I think that the Western region has given us a lot of superstars, right?
Yeah.
There's Lasmate, there's Kofi Kinata, there's T-Flow, there's Papi Kojo. The list is really, really long. So what has it been over the years that we are trying to change or rework or upgrade?
I think it's got to do much more of upgrade, where we are looking at it's not supposed, the conversation is not supposed to be just around Papi Kojo, Kofi Kinata or last minute. They are super talented individuals coming out of Western region each and every day, and then I think that is where we intend to really help them and then guide and nurture them to also hit the limelight and also let them understand that you don't necessarily have to be in Accra. You can still be in Takoradi and then like command numbers, make very good numbers for yourself, and then commercialize and monetize your craft as well. So these are some of the things that we are looking at putting these people on and then guiding them to be able to achieve them.
Okay, now I was of that thought as well, that you can be in whatever region you are and still make your music and blow, right? When you blow across, there's no way no one anywhere will not book you. But I think 2 weeks ago, we had Mr. Tell come by the studio, and then he used his examples were Macasio and then also Fancy Gadam, where he said that they have done whatever they have to do in the north, and so it's time for them to move regions and then also explore, other regions and even go beyond the country in propagating their music gospel, right? But they are not doing that. So what are your thoughts on that?
No, Makasso and Fancy Gadam are doing that. Makasso hosts events at the Bukom Arena annually.
He did that.
And I've been to that event before, and then it was like the whole arena was filled up. So first
what he's saying is they should move. They should move from the northern region. It's just in opposing what you said, that they can be there. So I'm just telling you that he is saying they should move.
At the end of the day, I agree that sometimes conquering new location is very ideal for your craft, right? So it means that if you have, let's say, 10,000 people supporting in Tamale, now when you move down south, you can have additional like 10,000 or 5,000 people, and that will add up to your collective numbers. I agree to that. But also, two truths can coexist. They can equally, my people from Western region can equally make a very big commercialize and play bigger shows by themselves, self-hosted shows in Takoradi or even in Seshi or even in Takwa, and still be able to monetize these shows and make very, very good revenue for themselves. What it does for them is that now when they move down to Accra, and let's say if they have like 10,000 people, 15,000 people listening to them or coming to their shows in Takoradi, when they move down to Accra, they can add up to those numbers and collectively it helps their numbers, and then it helps them with even their popularity and their listenership.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so I was going to ask a question. Cephas, good morning, by the way.
Good morning, my brother.
Everything be cool. So it says there's a saying that you can force a horse to the riverside, right? But you can't force it to drink. So I want to speak on the fact that Mr. Addison graciously in collaboration with eMusic TV has brought this to the Western region, and you and I can both attest to the fact that we definitely needed that engagement to enlighten our people on some of the things that they need to do. What needs to be done. And the fact that, like you said, you can make it anywhere. But I want to ask you about readiness. How ready do you think that our people are in terms of receiving and acting on this information that is, that now privy to?
Trip. So I think that most of them are very ready. Of course, there will be few people that might not really be ready, and that's where we channel our energies and our efforts to the people who are who are ready to receive this support and this help and this guidance. You understand? Clearly, you can send a horse to the river and then not force it to drink. But if you send 10 horses to the river, 2 might organically want to drink, and then you channel your energies to helping these 2 be able to drink and be satisfied. So I think that is where we focus our energies to the people who are really willing to take and then be available to this help and then guidance that we are offering.
Okay. So also in terms of Jason, you wanted to say something? Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of what needs to be done and then strategy and whatnot, I've had the experience of engaging with some artists, right? And because over here, editorial is responsible for also helping and amplifying or publicizing what these artists have and what they have to do. Sometimes you ask artists to send you, their stuff, and then someone might just send you a link to the song on AudioMac, or they might just send you. I think Mr. Tell also mentioned that when he came here. Now, we know that it takes a lot in terms of branding yourself as an artist, and even like public relations, right? Relating publicly with the media relations, like your presses and all the EPKs and all of that stuff. Most of our artists, or most of the people that we know, do not have access or do not even have the requisite information in putting these things together. We've had this seminar, we've had experts come to share their opinions and stuff like that. Talking about going forward, you as a strategist, right? I'm pretty sure there's people that you work with, there's people that you give some information to with regards to these things, but what happens to the rest of them, and how are we going to ensure that this is not, this seminar is not a one-off, and going forward others are able to tap into the necessary things like skills? Like, is it like in the form of workshops, or what do we intend to do?
Trip, I think that on countless I personally avail myself to most of my people from Western region who really need my help on my service, and then you and I can attest to that. You and I have to engage on a top level conversation when it comes to brand positioning for some artists in Western region as well.
Yeah.
So I think that it's everything is still boils down back to the artist taking actions, right? Yes, of course I'll be available. Yes, of course the other speakers will all be available. But then if you know that I need to do X, Y, Z before I put out a release. Like so you was talking, you can't record a song on Saturday and then want it to be everywhere on Monday.
Yeah.
Yes, it has happened in the past, but yes, is that the right thing? No, you have to put in plans and measures, plan ahead of time. You understand? So it still boils back to them that they taking actions and then be able to connect to the right people to help them shape their craft and then put their content out there.
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, I think we've covered most of it, but I just want to know, are you happy with in terms of the conversation around are you good? Can you make it out of Accra? And what's the plan for these artists to actually come to Accra to promote their things? Because there's nothing wrong, with a place being a hub. It's just the type of conversations we're having around, these topics. So I just want to know, as a creative, as someone who's behind the scenes, per your observations, per what even 3 Music is doing right now, in terms of engagement, are you happy, or do you think more should be done? If you are happy, are we moving at a good enough pace? I want to know right now.
Bro, I'm not happy. I think that more could be done, right? But then that's why it gets very dicey.
Mm-hmm.
An up-and-coming artist in Takoradi would clearly have access to the media in Takoradi, right? And then that would be easier for him to get his content played on there, because one, they know you, or two, it will be easier for you to make few calls to get your songs being played there, right? Let's bring these people to Accra. So if, let's say, I'm an up-and-coming artist in Takoradi, and then I can get my songs easily being played in Takoradi, even as an up-and-coming artist in Takoradi. When I come to Accra, now I'm coming to join this whole pool of up-and-coming artists in Accra who are also struggling for airplay, right?
Right.
And then now I don't even have any connections. It will take me probably 10, 15 calls or plenty begging to be able to even connect to a DJ or someone to host me, to interview me or to play my song in Accra. But that is completely the opposite when you are in Takoradi. You understand? So of course I believe that most songs get their hits in Accra, or most songs is mostly played in Accra, and then if Accra accepts your song, it becomes a nationwide hit. But I also have a high take that you can still make it in Takoradi, and then now you technically force the media in Accra to play your content or like your content.
I agree.
And all the times that Fancy Gadem or Makasso, now we even have Fadlan hosts stadium concerts. All the times that these people have hosted their stadium concerts, we wake up on Monday and technically all the media houses, including Three Music, have no other option than to talk about it. And then this is what we are saying, that it is very possible. It is very possible that if you sit in Takoradi and put in a solid work, you can still sit in Takoradi and shoot a very solid video, and Three Music will want to put it on their channel. Do you understand? You don't necessarily have to come to Accra. Of course, we have people in Accra who are also shooting videos that are now even have a certain standard. You can shoot videos even in Takoradi, and if you meet the standard of Three Music, you put it on. You will not say that, oh, because you some bad boy, you can't play the song. Do you get it? And then that in that perspective, you will even spend a bit lesser to shoot a high quality video, because now if you are moving to Accra, you might probably fly yourself, put out, pay other people, and then even for locations and venue. But meanwhile, in Takoradi, you can make few calls, and then people can get you a nice venue that will fit your for the concert that you intend to shoot. Do you understand?
Yes,
I
totally.
agree.
Okay, so in all of this, Kofi Cephas, you are saying that there's a possibility that these artists can stay wherever they want and still make the music, but also now activate the music the right way.
Yes, they really need to activate the music the right way.
Okay.
And then at the end of the day, that is how come we all sit in, even in Ghana as a collective, and then we get to listen to music out of the country. We listen to music from South Africa, Tanzania, and then the artists have never even been there. But then because they activate the music the right way, people are able to tap into it, people are able to listen, it ends up on people's playlists, and then people get to listen, they get to increase their fan base and all that.
Right. Right. Now, you also mentioned that, the industry players, media, and all of that should play a role, right? I think about 2 years ago, the Play Ghana initiative started. What would you say, so far is the state of it? Also because you are active in media, right? Since it started in 2023, would you say that there's been an appreciation of Ghana music across board, not just in Accra?
Oh, there has been. It was a good call by the people who started. I think George Burton and Co. It was really like a very good call that helped people.
And then Small God as well. Gomski,
exactly,
Small God,
Small God and as well. It gives people the room for their songs to be listened. Even for the past 2 years, right? Before that particular campaign, you hardly would see a Ghanaian music stay at Apple #1 for over a month, right? What happened to Black Sherry's last album? It was there for how many weeks? Now you go to Apple Music top 100, and there's a high chance that the #1 song is a Ghanaian song, or the first 10 is they are all Ghanaian songs. But proud to that, you go there and you're seeing plenty Nigerian songs, plenty South African songs, and then probably get the Ghanaian song, one Ghanaian song in there, and then like the whole thing will be mostly not dominated by Ghanaian. But because of that campaign, now we have most Ghanaian songs in it. That should tell us that most people are now listening to Ghanaian songs, and then it's a collective agenda being channeled and then fueled by the media as well. So I strongly agree that we really need to put in more effort and drum it more for people to be able to understand that this is a good call. And when we do this, it will help us as a collective for our songs to even be able to go out there and then do great numbers.
Right.
'Cause
Okay.
let's also not forget that.
No, you go, Kofi.
So let's also not forget that in all these things, it is number games. So the more that your numbers goes up, the more that you are able to even have a very good bargain on anything that you do.
Okay. Now here are Three Music as well. We've pushed, for the play of Ghana music. We do that a lot, right? And then also for us to focus a lot more on our Ghanaian music genres, what we know to be Ghanaian music genres, high life, hip life specifically. Are there any genres as well that you think that these up and coming artists that you speak on, even the well-grounded artists, should also now focus on, just so that once the genre gets out there as well, now Ghana will be seen a lot more than it is already, just as Amapiano has done for South Africa and then Afrobeat has done for Nigeria?
I think that they can tap into the existing ones, but then now we are now currently also in the alt season where there are so many so much attention given to the alt musicians we have in the country. So it's also a genre that most musicians can explore. And then personally, I love to listen to palm wine music, and then I really don't hear most of the coming artists do palm wine music. And then I think it's a music that cuts across all the genre and then all the listeners that we have, and it's something that up and coming musicians can also explore as well.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say I wanted to really commend everybody who's adding their voice to this Three Music, the whole team that went to Takoradi. And I also just want to reiterate that no one is saying that you can't blow, but the tests have actually shown that the best thing is to blow where you are and expand with your fans. Because it's crazy how me in Ghana, I'm always defending Drake and Chris Brown and 50 Cent and all these people. He's always defending his artists, but they blew somewhere. So the thing is, blow where you are, move your fans. Because with anything, it's about promotion. Promotion is about expansion. People come from Nigeria to Ghana. That's why it's the example. People go from Ghana to Nigeria, from South Africa to Ghana. The thing is, just get more ears on, build where you are, and move with your fans. That's the most important thing. That's the most important. And I have some shout outs, please.
Okay.
I'm so sorry if I don't do this, I'll be in trouble.
Let's let off Kofi Cephas.
Kofi Cephas, yes. I love what he said.
Kofi Cephas, thank you so much for joining us. And for us as Three Music as well, we are going to be going to all the other regions as best as we can to just, make sure that we vim them up to still now strive and thrive with their music. And then beyond that as well, when we in the big three cities, Accra, Kumasi and Takoradi, hear of them, I mean, there's a possibility that they'll reach far. Thank you so much, Kofi Cephas, for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much. I think I would want to use this opportunity to mention a few up and coming artists that I would want people to look out for that are coming out from the Western region. We have Jerusalem, we have Kobe Mani, we have Gozi Suez, we have Yao Jews, and most importantly, Nemesis Lotto is releasing his EP.
Glory Boy.
I will urge everyone to check it out. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. We will check them out. Have a good day and have a good week as well, Kofi.
Bye.
All right. So we had a conversation with Kofi Cephas. Just in case you found it in the middle of it or just to the end, you can find the full thing on our YouTube, Three Music Networks, and then snippets across our socials on Instagram, Three Music TV, on Facebook, Three Music, on TikTok, Three Music Lifestyle, on Snapchat, Three Music Live, and on X, Three Music Networks. Jason?
Yes. So quick shout outs to my four princesses, Ikuya Akwaba, Abina Ison, Abena Bonzwa, and Abena Oriedwa. They're always tuned in.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys. God bless you, and I can't wait to see you guys.
Hey, Four Princesses. Sounds like a title of a movie. Jason, Four Princesses. Okay, we'll be asking about you and your Four Princesses soon. But it's been a 3-hour conversation. It's been a 3-hour show. We started at 7, guys, so please don't miss. We come to you every weekday, 7 to 10 a.m. It is the Culture Daily Morning Show, and my name is Lenny Lomote. I've been doing this with Kojo Trip and Jason. So you go out there and stay fabulous. Have a good week. We'll catch you tomorrow. Already, 1st July is here. Stay safe, guys.